Hello, this is Matthew Armstrong and welcome to Transformation Talk. Today I've got the great pleasure of speaking with Harley Johnstone, aka Durian Rider. Harley has the biggest online vegan blog on the net with his partner Freely, 30 bananas a day, and he's also quite a bit of a celebrity on YouTube, and he really gets his message across, his health message across in a very entertaining and quite often controversial way. So it's a great pleasure to be speaking with you this evening, Harley. It's been a while since I've been wanting to chat to you, and I know you got a lot of good knowledge to share, good information about health and fitness. So it's great to be chatting with you.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
Great.
So I love the internet. I can be I'm sitting in a garden right now, eating apricots, talking to you in Spain.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's amazing.
And for free.
I love it too.
For free.
Yeah.
Skype.
Yeah, and we can get our message out to the world, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. So I'd just like to start off because you weren't always a health activist. You weren't always a fitness fanatic. Years ago you used to be like a Nintendo playing drug addict. You say, yeah?
Definitely.
So, how did that transformation happen? Bring us back to there, and how did it all change?
I guess I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. That old cliche. Sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to be riding my bike and be fit versus watching the Tour de France on TV. I wanted to be out there riding in the hills and having fun.
Yeah.
And for many years in my life, I thought that was just for certain kids. It's not for me because I was born with bad genetics, so I'm weak and I'm sick and things like that. So that became my mantra for many years until one day I just had enough, and I said, well, maybe I can choose how I feel. Maybe what I eat determines how I feel. And my lifestyle, maybe my lifestyle plays a part in my energy levels. So it became like an obsession to feel better, to have more energy, have a greater participation in my daily reality versus feeling like a victim all the time. And that's where it led me to where I am today.
All right. And veganism is a big part of what you teach and what you share. How did that lights first of all click on in your head, and how did that work?
Well, as a kid, I've always been an animal lover. I used to go fishing, and I'd always feel guilty for killing the fish, and I'd always sort of throw them back in the water. But I like fishing. I like being in nature. But I always felt bad when I was hurting the fish, and the fish get a hook in the eye. And I never felt, oh wow, great, the fish got a hook in the eye, I'm a champion. I always felt, oh man, So as a kid, I was always an animal lover. I always felt, cats and dogs. I want to pet the cat versus kick the cat. And then when I heard about the vegan lifestyle and how healthy it is for you, I'm like, in my heart, just went, yeah, man, that just makes sense. I'm an animal lover, and eating animals makes you sick, and it's bad for the environment. And it made so much sense to me. But I've got to be honest that I went to a vegan lifestyle for health issues first. That's what got me going. And then once I learned that it all makes sense, I was like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So it snowballed for me.
Yeah.
It was like sooner or later, the weight of the truth begins to smash apart the programming. And my programming for 24 years or whatever it was you got to kill animals, you got to eat meat, and that's just how it is. And if you don't, you die in a week. And I've been vegan for 10 years now. And at age 34, I'm fitter than I was when I was 17. Like, totally different person. I'm running marathons now. When I was 17, I used to have to catch a bus 1 mile to school, and now I can ride my bike 321 miles solo in 24 hours. So for me, it's light and day.
Yeah. And
that's how I got to the vegan lifestyle. So I promote vegan lifestyle because not just because it's good for the planet, good for our health, but it just makes sense. We're designed to be vegans.
Yeah.
If we weren't, then we could go and eat a cat on the street and no one would blink an eye. But you do that in Australia, you get put in jail. And you do that in certain places in China, you'd be put in jail. But you can eat apricots anywhere in the world, you won't get put in jail. A farmer friend of mine just picked these apricots, hand-picked them yesterday, drove down here 2 hours, dropped them off, and they're just incredible, like, so good. And you can eat fruit, you can eat plants. No one's going to put you in jail for eating plants.
Cool. You said you're sick and tired, but what was your symptoms? What diseases did you have back then?
Chronic fatigue was the main one, Crohn's disease, a lot of asthma, breathing issues, insomnia, depression, hypoglycemia, like medically diagnosed hypoglycemia.
Right.
Just a lot of these basic things, just feelings of unwellness,
Yeah.
feelings of dis-ease, and that all went away when I changed my diet and lifestyle.
Right.
So that's why I've become so evangelical, because I've been on so far the extremes, like just in bed, can't get up, can't go to school, or I'd catch the bus to school because I don't have energy to ride my bike, to Lance Armstrong's in town. All right, if I can get past security, I want to go ride with Lance Armstrong. I can keep up with Lance Armstrong, no problems, in 5 hours in the mountains. The biggest problem for me is getting past security.
Yep.
That's my reality now. This in the next month, I want to crack 600 kilometers in a day. My record's 5:15 in a day.
Cool.
So I want to crack 600 k's in a day solo. I've already done 620 in a day before in a group, but never by myself. So that's why I'm so evangelical, because I've been in the depths of despair.
Yeah.
So I can relate to people.
And what is your diet, and what was the what you eat now? Like, I know you eat a lot of fruit now, but back then when you changed your diet and you got rid of the asthma, the Crohn's, the depression, the chronic fatigue, did you go straight into the fruit, or what did you do?
No, I followed a Dr. McDougall. You know Dr. McDougall?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so famous, nutrition doctor. Dr. McDougall, followed his program for a bit, and that just felt so good. I felt incredible doing that. And then I sort of read a book called Fit for Life, and it said, fruit's really good for breakfast. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. So I started having fruit for breakfast, and that was like next level. And then I heard about raw food lifestyle, and then I did fruit for a day one day, and it's like, wow, this feels really good. But I just didn't know how to get enough calories, so I always fall off the wagon. But I started really, luckily that I started on the high carb, low fat lifestyle. A lot of people go vegan, they go, lots of oil and grease, and they don't get the benefits they probably could. So I was pretty lucky. I just fell into the high carb, low fat lifestyle and got the benefits literally within days. And then it led me more to the fruit lifestyle and raw food, and it's where I am today.
Cool.
So definitely.
And how long have you been raw vegan now?
Well, I started in 2001.
Yeah.
2002 actually, rather. I went vegan in 2001. Started raw foods in 2002. I don't call myself 100% raw foodist, because I do eat dried fruit, I do eat bottled juice, and I do eat dates. So technically those things are not raw,
right,
but raw in the sense of raw.
Yeah.
So I've been vegan since April 2001.
All right.
And I started the high fruit raw foods thing, really getting most of my calories from fruit, in 2006 when I went to Doug Graham's Health and Fitness Week. And that was when the light bulb went off, and I was like, wow, you got to eat a lot of fruit if you want to have high energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, you fail as a raw foodist. You got to fail epically. So 2006 when I started the 80-10 lifestyle.
Cool. So tell me, what would you eat in a day?
Ooh.
Generally.
I'm on to my 5th kilo of apricots at the moment, and it's only time is it's about 11 o'clock here. But I mean, apricots are a very short season for quality like this, so I rarely eat apricots. On a typical day, it would be bananas and dates. So maybe 30 bananas, 40 bananas. Dates are really good because dates are always ripe, so a kilo of dates at least a day as a minimum, and then add on top of that a bit of salad, some watermelon or something like that.
Yeah.
Dates and bananas are our focus, my partner Freely, because dates are great because they're high calorie, they're always ripe. Bananas are great because you can tell when they're ripe, and you can get them in most places, and they digest great, and you can make smoothies out of them or just eat them as is. And just they're high calorie, and we find the high calorie fruits really give you that punch. So I'm eating low calorie fruits like apricots at the moment, just because these taste so good. They're just incredible. But I couldn't sustain myself in this because it's too low calorie, so I wouldn't have enough energy. But a few meals, a few times a year is not going to be an issue at all.
Yeah.
So we go for high calorie, definitely.
All right. So for that, that's for like the 80% fruit. What about the other 10% fat, 10% protein? Where do you get that from?
Well, we get our protein from fruit. We get our fats mostly from fruit. Occasionally we eat avocado, but I haven't had an avocado for, well, when's the last time I had avocado? Maybe 2 months. I have salad a few times a week, but I like having low fat. I occasionally have vegetable oil on a salad a few times a year if someone's made it and there's some on there, but I'm definitely into low fat, low salt.
Yeah.
I'll eat nuts occasionally, but maybe once a month.
Yeah.
I've done my experimentation where I've eaten a lot of nuts and did the low carb raw food thing and just failed epically. So I like to keep my fat intake low. But I don't miss the fats when I'm eating a lot of fruit. When you get enough calories from your favourite fruits, you don't crave eating a lot of avocado or a lot of nuts and seeds. It's not like you're missing out. You get enough calories and you're satiated. It's like a mosquito. If you have one mosquito in your bedroom and you let it bite you and fill up, the mosquito's not going to pest you for the rest of the night. But if you keep shooing the mosquito away and the mosquito's hungry, it's going to keep coming back. So mosquitoes like hunger. When you get enough calories from your favourite sweet fruits, then you don't crave any extra fats in terms of a large amount of them. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. And
so there was times when I was doing raw food where I'd have an avocado, have another one, and have like 5 avocados in a sitting. One time I did 16 avocados in a day just because I was so hungry. And I read David Wolf's book, and he says, eat as much avocado as you want. I thought, yeah, no worries. So I did that and just felt shocking. Right. Next day, had no legs on the bike, and I was just craving a lot of other stuff. But yeah, so low fat is where it's at.
Okay. Low
carb is good if you want to fail.
And what about the nutrients? Because I know like a lot of people think, surely you're not going to get all your nutrients from bananas and dates. There are another lot of range of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc. that you must be missing out on there.
Yeah, I mean, I eat so much variety in the year. I aim for simplicity during the day, but variety over the year. And my bananas might come from Thailand, Australia, Mexico, Ecuador, Bolivia, Costa Rica. So all those different soils will have different mineral makeups.
Right.
So when we go to the USADA Agriculture Department database and we type in bananas and the mineral spectrum comes up, that's not going to be the same for bananas grown in Florida or California or Australia or Malaysia. It's always going to be varying. So we can get a ballpark figure of how many minerals we get, but it's not going to be the same every single day, every single meal, because we're going to have different times of the year, different soil quality, different ripeness of fruit, different levels of sleep. So someone might need more minerals because they're getting less sleep, or they're not exercising, so their digestion's not as good, so they don't absorb the minerals as well, so they need more minerals. Right. So there's a lot of factors than just what's in the food on any given day.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
So if I wasn't getting enough minerals, then my blood tests would be bad, but my blood tests are always good. I only take one supplement, that's vitamin B12. All my paleo primal friends, they're taking up to like 100 different supplements. I did a video recently about the primal people. They do an average of 127 supplements a day in their protein powders and fish oil capsules, and so it's an interesting one. So I only take one supplement, and I don't know any of the guys I'm racing with who only take one supplement. It's normally a big canister full of stuff.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't getting enough minerals, I'd know straight away, because I couldn't be this fit. I couldn't go and ride my bike across the country, or I couldn't have the good blood tests. I couldn't have the good health. I couldn't have the drug-free fitness, because if I was deficient, I'd be getting floored. I'd be finishing last in every running race I did, instead of finishing top 10 90% of the time, 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's a question I get asked a lot, and it's one I've looked into a lot. And so all my magnesium levels are great, copper, iron, manganese, selenium, zinc, they're always good, because I get enough sleep, I eat enough calories. I like organic fruit, because organic foods we know have more minerals in them.
Sure.
And when it's not being cooked or processed, it has more minerals. And I like to stay hydrated, keep my stress levels, balanced.
Yeah. And
all these things add up for better nutrition.
Yeah, makes sense. So for there are, like, I know a lot of misconceptions about eating too much fruit, etc. I'm sure people will be worried about the high sugar content, especially for diabetes. Can you offer some insights as regards to that?
Well, I've seen plenty of people reverse their type 2 diabetes on a high sugar, low fat, vegan or raw vegan lifestyle, where fruit makes up at least 95% of the calories, or rice and potatoes makes up over 95% of the calories. And there's no oil, there's no animal products, minimal nuts and seeds. I've seen people reverse type 2 diabetes, and it's also been clinically documented. Like you've got doctors like Dr. Neil Barnard in his book Reversing Diabetes. So anyone who says that sugar gives you diabetes, well, then I'd have diabetes. Doug Graham would have diabetes. Dr. Neil Barnard would have diabetes. So would Dr. McDougall and Dr. Esselstyn and Dr. Ornish and all those doctors who promote a high-carb, low-fat, vegan lifestyle. We wouldn't see people reversing diabetes type 2 on a high-carb lifestyle if high carbs gave you diabetes. It's sort of the opposite. Like, it's like saying you can make a window stronger by throwing a sledgehammer through it. It's not the case. The window is going to break. The window doesn't get stronger, it just breaks. So we see people getting diabetes type 1 that's related to dairy consumption. We see that all the time, and other genetic issues, but type 2 is more of a diet and lifestyle one. Type 2 diabetes is very easy to reverse, but not many people are willing to do it. Most people would rather die than change their diet, I've found.
Yeah, sadly that is the case.
Yeah, so and I've got videos on YouTube where I test my blood sugar after a meal of 20 or 30 bananas and dates and mammy sapote. So I've got blood tests where I've tested my potassium levels a day after eating 72 bananas in a day.
Wow. And
they're always good. They're always good because I eat low fat, I get to sleep. And diabetes, a non-issue. Even my friend Robbie Barbaro, if you look up Robbie Barbaro, type 1 diabetes, 80-10-10, he's got the best levels ever.
Okay.
He lives a high sugar, low fat lifestyle, and he's on the least insulin. So you can't reverse type 1 diabetes. Some people say you can, but they've never proven it in a clinical trial.
Right.
But you definitely can reverse type 2 diabetes, and that's been proven over and over.
Yeah, and type 1 can be greatly improved on, right?
Yeah, you can reduce your insulin usage.
Yeah.
But I've never ever seen any medical journals where people have reversed it.
Yeah.
I know some people out there say they have, but I like to see evidence because, I like evidence.
Yeah.
I like to judge by results versus theory.
Yeah, obviously. So you mentioned B12 earlier on. That's the only supplement you take, and I know you've done quite a bit of in-depth research into B12. So can you give us an overview on B12 and that, because I know a lot of people think that it's a low B12 is a vegan issue, where it's more of a modern world issue, I know. So can you just give us a bit of an overview on that, and why you take B12?
Well, my research isn't research as such, it's just personal interest. But I've read the clinical research books, I've read the textbooks, I've gone to the libraries, I've talked to the doctors and the physicians and the Tour de France team physicians. B12 deficiency can occur in anybody regardless of diet. There's not a single deficiency or disease that only vegans get.
Sure.
But people think there is. What about calcium? What about protein? What about B12? It's like only a vegan can have a problem with B12. It's not true at all. In fact, all my cycling friends I race with, they all do B12 supplements. How do I know this? I ask them. I ask everyone. I talk to people every day, from Lance Armstrong to just Joe Blow in the corner. I talk to everyone, asking questions, and all the guys I'm racing with, training with, they all do a B12 supplement, either injection form, sublingual, or a little pill.
Yeah.
So it's B12 deficiency is common. Now, there's a Tufts University study recently that said over 39% of the US has low serum B12.
Yeah.
We also know that in Japan, the minimum cutoff for B12 is 550, and in the US it's about 180, and that's the same in Australia.
Right.
So you can test 220 in Australia or the US. Doctor's like, yep, no worries, mate, all fine. But you can have dangerously low B12 serum levels, and you're going to go undiagnosed. But if you're in Japan and your levels are 220, the doctor's going to go, man, you need to do injections now. They're not going to say, eat some steak. They're going to go, no, you need injections. And Japan has the lowest rate of dementia in the world, in the Western nations.
Yeah.
So even my raw meat-eating friends, 100% of them have B12 deficiency. How do I know this? Because we get tested. They show me their tests. And one of them now, he does B12 injections. Actually, two of them now do B12 injections, and their levels went right up. So eating raw meat doesn't raise your B12 levels. And someone might go, yeah, I raised my levels 20 points or 30 points. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, your levels always go up and down a few points, but we're talking from 180 to over 1,000. That's a raise in B12. Going up to 300 is nothing, really, in my opinion. And there's a good book to read called Could It Be B12 by Sally Patchlock. Could it be B12? So I did a lot of testing, and it turns out I lack intrinsic factor. But so I was supplementing all my life. In Australia, we inject the cows with B12. We inject the sheep with B12, and we spray B12 in the cereal. So I was always eating those foods, and I was supplementing that way. And when I went raw, I had no supplements whatsoever, and I got tested for the first time in my life, B12, and I was low. I'm thinking, interesting. Everyone around me said, oh, that's because your diet. And it's like, well, what I've done is I've taken the supplements out, and now my body's not absorbing the B12 that my body produces, because every human body produces B12. But a lot of people have absorption issues. So I'm not absorbing the B12, my levels drop down. I'm like, oh, what can I do here? I can just continually go down and see what happens, or I can start supplementing like I used to. So I started supplementing again.
Did you get any symptoms?
Had no symptoms at all. I was still in peak fitness. But I wanted to... It's a bit like a car, you know, if the oil light's flashing, but the car's still going good, let's just get the oil, let's just stop and fix the oil.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. And I looked at the cons of B12 injections. There's hardly anything. There might be a reaction to the vinegar in the solution or whatever.
Yeah.
And I looked at the cons of having a B12 deficiency, and they weren't pretty. They weren't pretty. And people still today say, Harley, you should just eat some raw eggs, or like eat some meat. And it's like they don't understand the whole issue there. They don't understand that B12 deficiency occurs in meat eaters as well.
Yeah. That
if B12 deficiency was just a vegan thing, it would only be in vegans. Now I'm gonna have to tell this the rest of my life, because people are in this mindset of like, if you got a B12 problem, it's because you're a vegan. So, but it's not that case at all. But that's just, when people say that, they just have like a low level understanding of human physiology and nutrition.
Yeah.
But that's cool. We've got to learn somewhere.
Yeah, great.
So anybody can have a B12 issue.
Okay. And what are the effects of getting your B12 levels jacked up? How does that affect your performance in sport or your performance in life? Did you notice a difference?
I didn't notice any difference, but I know a lot of people notice weight loss. They find it easier to get more lean. A lot of women find that they just metabolize things a lot better, because we know B12 is used in carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism, and a lot of weight loss clinics in the US use B12 injections.
Yeah. A
lot of bodybuilders use B12 injections for... This is a funny one. Bodybuilders eat more meat than anybody on the planet, yet they do more B12 injections than anybody on the planet.
Interesting.
I've got a friend who does B12 injections 4 times a week, 5 times a week, and he eats a kilo of steak a day.
Wow.
And and he actually showed me how to do B12 injections. A kilo. Yeah, he's like 110 kilos guy.
Yeah.
And he's young. He's only like my age, 34, but you can see his health's going to be going downhill soon. But anyway, so I didn't notice any differences, but a lot of people report better weight loss, better sleep, better mood.
Yeah.
I know I talked with a doctor in Byron Bay, Australia, and he said he had a patient who was a meat eater, and because he was a cycling friend of mine, he was locked up in a mental ward, and this doctor got his B12 levels tested, and he was like, almost non-diagnosed, non-detectable, and he gave him B12 injection. He said within 24 hours, it was like someone's flipped a switch. And so there's a lot of stuff on the net and in the clinical publishing, medical stuff that give before and after stats. But me, I didn't notice anything.
Right.
A lot of people notice. A lot of people notice weight loss. That's probably the biggest one.
Because you mentioned there that all the athletes that you're competing with, they're all on B12 shots. So I thought maybe it increases sports performance or something, no?
Well, if you're running low, it's going to increase your performance because you're not going to produce enough hemoglobin.
Right. Or
your hematocrit's going to be deficient, or you're going to have anemia symptoms. So if you're running low on B12, like really low, like you're getting symptoms, physical symptoms, and your performance is down, and you do B12 injections, get your levels up, then it's going to be a benefit. Personally, I didn't notice any benefit at all.
Okay.
I noticed benefit on paper,
yeah,
but not on the bike. Didn't notice any difference.
All right, cool.
So whether or not my body needed it, I don't know. On paper it said yes, but I didn't notice any difference.
Yeah.
In performance.
Okay, great. So going back to the diet, how does that affect, or does it affect sports performance? Being on the fruit.
Oh yeah, because the fruit is especially in sports like running or cycling or even powerlifting, you need that explosive like burst. And when your blood's all in your stomach from digesting meat and dairy, you need to get jacked up on the caffeine to have any real pump. Like things like powerlifting, it's just pure, using pure sugar. It's not like where you're doing a even marathon running, you're burning a lot of fat when you're running a marathon, but when you're doing powerlifting or kickboxing, you just need that explosive power, and that's just sugar derived. And fruit is just like the king for that, the queen of energy. That's why everyone has sports drinks and sports gels and sugary stuff, because the body lives on simple sugars, and when you're deficient in simple sugars, your performance just goes down. And that's why stimulants are so endemic to an elite level sport. I mean, stimulants are endemic to everyday life for 99% of the population. People just not getting enough fruit, not enough simple sugars, or not even, a lot of times, not even enough rice and potatoes. But fruit, oh man, it keeps you light, it keeps you lean, it digests great, it's got more nutrients per calorie than any other human food.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best for the environment, it tastes great. I mean, the hardest thing about fruit is getting quality fruit that tastes good.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. That's probably the two biggest challenges would be situational inconvenience, you go traveling and can't find enough fruit, or social disapproval, where you got enough fruit but everyone thinks you're a bit of a nut job. So once people can get over that, then it's an easy lifestyle to live. But in terms of sports performance, I've noticed that I've got more power per body weight, like my wattage per kilo goes up, because you're not consuming a lot of the salt and the oils and the heavy foods. So you're going to wake up every morning lighter on the same amount of calories than any other food. So you're going to have more a better power to weight ratio. And if you're into boxing, that's good. If you're into cycling, that's good. If you're into running, that's good. If you're into powerlifting, that's good, because you're going to be competing at a lighter class and winning more stuff, because you don't have the extra salt retention or animal inflammation from the excess omega-6 causing inflammation, which means you're not stronger, but you weigh more, so you have to compete at a heavier weight class. But if you can be a more natural weight, you'll have more natural strength. So what I tell people is that the world records would get smashed if people adopted this fruit-based vegan lifestyle and they stayed in the same drugs. Because I know a lot of athletes, they get off the drugs and start eating healthy, and their performance goes down. They feel better, their health's better, but their performance goes down. I'm like, dude, you got to stay on the drugs. You can't get off the drugs and perform better.
Right.
Like, people don't take drugs at the Olympics. I'm like, drugs at the Olympics, like eating breakfast. That's just how it is. But the first sub 2 hour marathon runner will be on the fruit, 100%. But they have to stay on the same drugs, same training, same monetary motivation. They can't stop doing drugs and just rely on fruit to get their hematocrit right up and their hemoglobin right up.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. You've got to take the EPO, you've got to take this testosterone, you've got to take the drugs like they all do. Which is funny, because people say you don't get enough testosterone if you're a vegan, yet people are getting busted with testosterone all the time, the Olympics or in cycling, and they're not vegans, but they're still getting busted for testosterone abuse. Mm-hmm. So definitely, this diet and lifestyle is great for everything. It's crazy.
Cool. On a when you compete on a race day, let's say, do you how do you eat differently?
I eat the same, but what I'll do, like let's say I've got a half marathon running race this Sunday on Christmas Day, and I'd like to win it. So what I'm gonna do, it starts at 6 a.m. in the morning. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna have like a little sip of water and maybe just a mouthful of fruit, and that's it. Because in running, you've got to be super light, nothing in your stomach. Because if you've got water and fruit bouncing around your stomach when you're running at 3:30 pace, you're going to get a stitch. You're going to be feeling, uncomfortable, and it's going to slow your performance down. So the faster the event is, the less I can eat. Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is I'm using my glycogen stores, which are from the carbohydrates I ate the days before.
Yeah.
But then after the half marathon, I'll drink a liter of water, and I'll have a 1,000, 2,000 calorie meal with me, and I'll probably bring some dates down there. So maybe a half kilo or a 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound bag of dates with me. I just drink that and sip that and eat that, and yeah. So, and let's say I've got a running race in the afternoon, I'll just have my normal 1,000, 2,000 calorie breakfast, and I might snack a little bit during the day and get to the running race in the evening and just be like super light, super flat stomach, just like jittery, just keen to go. Mm-hmm. And then after the race, water, fruit, and because running, you got to be light in the stomach. You can't have a heavy stomach when you're running, unless you're doing the ultra marathons, and then you're walking up the hills, you're sort of just jogging along. But when you're doing, anything under the marathon or the half marathon, you need to be super light and just all the blood in your legs, nothing in your stomach.
Yeah.
And you've got to have maximum diaphragm expansion. If you've got a meal full of food or water in your stomach, your diaphragm can't expand, you're losing oxygen, and you're losing speed, you're losing power, and it's bye-bye. So you got to race light and eat hard afterwards.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
It's like if you're doing yoga or anything, you got to have an empty stomach. You can't have a full stomach when you're doing intensity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just going for a hike in the hills, you can eat whatever. If I'm going on my bike and riding all day, I can eat whatever I can eat on the bike. I can jump on the bike with like 30 bananas in my stomach and just go and amble around the place.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a race intensity, you got to have a flat stomach and just maybe anything over an hour, you eat 1 gram of carbs per kilo of body weight. So in a marathon, I'd eat 3 or 4 dates per hour.
Yeah.
But anything under an hour, you don't need to eat.
All right.
Anything under an hour, you don't need to eat because you're going to be running on yesterday's glycogen stores.
Yeah. 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 That's good. Good information. Good to know.
And I've learned that from people like Lance Armstrong or Cadell Evans or some of the best runners in the world. That's where I learned that from. So it doesn't matter what you eat, that rule applies to you regardless of what you eat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Got to have a light stomach.
Yeah. And so the amount of bananas you eat, because you eat, like you say, 30, 40, 50. I've even heard you say you've eaten 70 bananas in a day.
Yep.
How do you get that much how do you get that much bananas into your system? Do you smoothie a lot of them? Do you just eat constantly?
No, I don't like to eat constantly. That's why I like bananas and dates, because I can just have a meal and it's like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 calories and I'm good to go for 5, 6, 7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't like eating continuously because I like to do other things, and I find it's a bit of an interruption. Especially when I'm working on the keyboard and I'm eating it, so like getting messy. I like to have my meal and just do it and move on. How do you eat that much? When you're fit, you can eat a lot of food. Like all my cyclist friends, they could eat that many bananas, even though they're not raw foodists. But if you just told them to eat this many bananas, they could do it because you take away the other calorie source, the hunger goes up, and all of a sudden they can crank in the bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So it just comes down to fitness levels.
Yeah. Do you blend them?
Yeah, I do a lot of smoothies.
Yeah.
If you Google up on YouTube, banana date sugar smoothie, that comes up with our favorite recipe.
Okay. What is your favorite recipe?
Bananas and water.
Yeah.
Or bananas, dates and water.
Okay.
Or you can even make Daterade where you just blend dates and water.
Yeah.
And that's a great one because you can have a kilo of dates, make sure you pit them, put them in the blender with water, and then you put that in like a big 2 litre or 3 litre glass bottle, shake it up before you sip it. Mm-hmm. You can have that next to you, and that's a great thing to take to work or take to festive occasions or whatever, or have in the car. And that's what I like to have after races or after training.
Yeah.
But I always eat high calorie every day because whether I'm riding my bike or sitting in front of the computer, I still need my brain to be focusing and contributing. When I eat less, I don't want to do much. Yeah. I don't want to talk to people. I get over 1,500 emails a day, and
how much?
And over 1,500.
Really? Wow.
YouTube, Facebook, our website, on my emails. So it's in the last 6 months, man, it's just gone off the hook.
Yeah.
And I still eat high calorie on my days off because I've got so much to do mentally.
Yeah.
I'll sit in front of the computer 10 hours a day on average. And I don't do a lot of training like I used to because my priority now is more to help people.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I heard you speak about water before, and I know like a lot of people who eat a lot of fruit, they say they get their water from their fruit or from eating the raw food. But you're quite big on just drinking plain water, right? Like, how much water do you recommend? What sort of sources? Why do we need to drink water as opposed to just getting it from the fruit? Because you're going to get a lot of water from your fruit anyway.
I don't know anybody. Actually, I do know. I know 2 people that don't drink water, and they're in poor health.
Right.
And they're lovely people. They're fruit-based people, lovely people, but they're very poor health, very poor motivational, very poor emotional situations they're in. I know a lot of people who don't drink much water, but they still drink water.
Mm-hmm.
They still drink water. You need less water if you're eating a lot of juicy fruit like oranges and watermelon, for sure.
Yeah.
But you still need water for water's sake. I've done the experiment where I've been out on a hot day and gotten dehydrated and had watermelon or oranges, and I still had dehydration symptoms.
Right.
It's not enough water. We need water for water's sake. I mean, the brain uses water. The body uses pure water. It doesn't use watermelon juice. There's no watermelon juice in your brain. But the brain needs water. The body needs water. It doesn't need watermelon juice. Like when we consume watermelon juice, the body has to filter out all the minerals and the vitamins and stuff like that, the fiber, the sugars, proteins, and fats, and then use that water. The body wants water on its own. So that's my theory, and I judge that by the results I get. And people are welcome to not drink much water and just have bad digestion, bad skin, bad mood, excess cellulite, excess weight gain, poor glycogen resynthesis, poor mood. Because when you get dehydrated, man, it sucks. Your mood drops down. People get like just short-tempered. Very like they take things personally. I take things personally when I get dehydrated. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like, what are you talking about? And so, I'll see people, oh, you didn't drink much water, and they're so dehydrated, you don't even feel comfortable telling them, well, actually, I think you need water because you're in a bit of a bad mood. They're that dehydrated, you don't want to tell them that because they're going to snap at you. So I'm a big fan of drinking water. Every morning I wake up, I have a litre of water. Before I eat anything, I have a litre of water. So the running race on Sunday, I'll have a litre of water before I eat anything. In terms of a meal. So that's a great habit to get into, is wake up, drink that litre of water. Because sure, you don't have to do that. Most people never do that in their life. Most people never live the life they want to live. They never have the energy they would really like to have. They don't know what they're missing out on. It's like a lot of people think cycling is about riding a heavy, rusty bike with the seat too low and the tyres too flat and some helmet that's like cutting off the circulation and you're hunched up like that. And people think that's what cycling is, because they never get a chance to ride a good bike that fits properly, the tyres pumped up, the helmet that's nice fitting. They don't get a chance to do that. So a lot of people never have the experience of what hydration really feels like. I know Lance Armstrong tests his hydration in March for the Tour de France in July. So hydration is key. Hydration is the first thing to get you overtrained. The first way to get overtrained is to get dehydrated. Second quickest way to get overtrained is run out of carbs, not eat enough carbs. Third quickest way is to not get enough sleep. So it comes down to sleep, water, sugar. And I had one friend, fruitarian runner, end up in hospital. He almost died, and we checked his blood levels out, severe dehydration. Another friend of mine died in 2009 from dehydration. She had kidney failure during a fast, ate some raw animal products, got food poisoning, did a fast, dry fast, died. I've had plenty of friends end up in hospital, like not drinking enough water. Thinking, oh, I can just get it from the fruits, I'm a raw foodist. And you sort of feel so good sometimes, you think you're invincible, and you just push through it because your adrenal glands work so well, because you're off the coffee, you're getting to sleep, and you feel like you can just walk through walls. And so you go for the dehydration, you're just like, oh, I'm charging through, and then bang, you just get king hit, TKO, down for the count, end up in hospital, and you're like, what happened, man, what happened? But so I'm a big fan of drink enough water. How much water do you need to drink? Drink enough water so you're urinating at least 10 times a day, always clear, and at least a few times a night. Have a water bottle beside the bed, we're into that. Have the water pot for your girl, we're into that. That's what me and Freely do. It's not the most romantic thing in the world, but for me, true romance is having energy levels and being kind and considerate and having that connection and passion. And that starts with being hydrated. Because when you're dehydrated, life sucks.
So you'd drink like another litre before you go to bed, would you?
Yeah, often. That's Freely. She does that so well. And that's one of the reasons why that's one of the reasons why Freely has such a flat stomach, is she drinks a litre of water before she goes to bed. She'll be sitting in bed literally drinking a quart of water, a litre of water, and then go to bed. And then wake up at night and go have a wee. And just her digestion is just incredible. Just everything passes through. It's like washing dishes with watermelon juice. It's going to be sticky and things are going to stick around, and you need water. And people say, oh, no, you don't. But it's all right, man, you'll learn. You'll learn with bad moods, bad skin, premature aging, bad fatigue, weight gain that you think's fat, so then you restrict your calories more, but it's just because you've got fluid retention, because you're dehydrated, you've got edema now. It's a vicious cycle. Drink your water. Water's good. What's the best source of water? Whatever you can get. I'll drink fluoridated, chlorinated tap water if that's all I have. That's rare though, because I can always get some bottled water, filtered water somewhere.
Yeah.
It's better to have any water than no water.
Sure.
Like my friend who died. She had like a $2,000 water filtering system in her house, so it's not good enough. And she died. She could have drunk mud water from the dog bowl and would have lived today.
Yeah.
So don't worry about water sufficiency. Is more important than water source.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Going back to what you're saying there, Lance Armstrong, that really pretty much amazes me that he checks his hydration levels in March if he's racing in July, let's say.
Yeah.
So are you saying that he's saying that you need to start getting hydrated months before to actually fully hydrate your system?
Great question. Yes. Dehydration can take weeks or months to creep up on us. A lot of people think, oh, I wake up and I drink water, I should be hydrated now, I should be in a good mood now. It's like, yeah, if you're really dehydrated, it's going to take time to build up there.
Yeah.
It's like fitness. Fitness takes literally years to build up. Hydration, in my opinion, takes years to build up. It takes years to build it up. We live in a society where we think that life is like mathematics. Like once you learn 2 + 2 = 4, or you can do your times tables, 3 × 3 is 9. Once you understand that, then that's just, you get it for the rest of your life. You get it. People think once I drink some water or do a bit of fitness for a month, that means that carries the rest of my life, that I don't have to keep working at that. But it doesn't work that way. Once you learn the basic maths, you don't have to work at that. You know that. But fitness and health, you have to do that daily. You have to invest energy and time and focus into that daily. Yeah. So when Lance is measuring hydration, why does he do that? It's to ensure he doesn't overtrain. Because the quickest way to overtrain is to get dehydrated. So if you get dehydrated, you're going to overtrain, your fitness is going to go down, and then when it comes to race day or performance day, you're going to hit you're going to miss the mark.
Yeah.
So hydration can take days, weeks, months to creep up on us. And one of the first symptoms of dehydration is you don't want to drink water. You try and drink some water and it hurts in the throat or it hurts in the stomach. That's a good sign you're dehydrated. Another sign is when people get the red face, like the peach face, tomato face. That's a good sign of dehydration. Another good sign is yellow urine. You go have a wee and your urine is yellow or straw. It should always be clear. So there's signs to look out for. Dark coloured urine, yellow urine, straw urine, red face, bad mood, bad digestion. A lot of bloating, and it hurts to drink water. Drink water and it hurts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good information there. You do mentoring now, don't you? You mentor people, getting them into the high carb, low fat diet, raw diet. What do you see with people coming to you? What's like the main sort of issues people have, and how do you see them being overcome?
I'll be honest with people, that the main focus in this whole health industry is weight loss, in my opinion. I mean, look at the video you in Victoria, the before and after photo one. Like how many hits has that had now? Yeah,
like nearly 80,000.
Exactly. I've watched that like from 2000. Because that's what people want. People want weight loss. I mean, that's why Freely put up a video a few days ago. It's had like 35,000 hits. It's got her dancing and showing her body. People want to see weight loss. So 99% of the people who come to us, they're coming for weight loss. And that's why Freely is just getting so. I think I got 9 minutes left on this little battery here. That's a bit of a bummer. So Freely's just weight loss is what people come for.
Okay.
That's 99% of the time. Like it's cancer, heart disease. Nah, most people would rather die. But occasionally you get some people who are serious and we help them. But it's weight loss. Weight loss is like the 99%.
And how fast do you see results when you switch to this diet?
Depends what results we're talking about. It depends on the person as well, because I can give 10 people the same sleep, diet, and lifestyle instruction, and you're going to get 10 different results, because one person might have a background in elite sport, one person might be 600 pounds, one person might be 60 pounds, one person might have a family and they're not interested in getting early nights. One person might be a meth addict. One person might be an elite sports person. It's an it depends answer. It's going to vary from person to person, but bottom line, everybody gets good results when they do good things. There's never a situation in the long run where you do good things and you get bad results.
Yeah.
You don't. But what happens is people compare themselves with other people. Like when I worked in the bike industry, people would buy a bike and spend $10,000 and come out training with me and try and keep up with me. And I'm like, that's really cool. You spent so much money on a bike and you're disciplined. You want to come out but it's going to take you years, man. It's going to take you 5, 6, 7, 8 years to get to my level in cycling, just because I've been doing it for a long time.
Sure.
So a lot of people invest time and energy in this raw food lifestyle, and they don't get the results they want in 2 weeks or 2 months. And they go, I tried that and it doesn't work. It's like, well, what doesn't work is your impatient attitude. What doesn't work is I've got to have it now mentality. What doesn't work is well, I'm better than you, so I should get better results quicker than you, or whatever. That doesn't work. What works is consistent effort, taking advice and people getting results you desire, following your heart and having fun, and making it a lifestyle for life. That's what works.
Yeah.
Versus, I mean, the weight loss industry is full of quick fix, 30-day ketogenic, low carb, give yourself kidney failure diets. It's just common as.
Yeah.
And we could make more money if we did that, but we like to sleep at night, and there's no way I can look at someone in the face and tell them you should cut your carbohydrates down. There's no way I can look at someone in the face and say you should cut your calories down. I can't do that because it goes against what I know is right. All I see when people cut their carbs or cut their calories is they binge, they fade, they fail, and you never see them again.
Yeah.
So I promote high calorie, high carb, high fun, high octane lifestyle, and be patient. Be patient.
Awesome.
Because the results come 100%. It's like if you leave the apricot on the tree, it will ripen up. But so many people pick the apricot green because they're scared the birds will get it, or scared something's going to happen, and they ship it to market and the apricot's green and crunchy and it's not going to ripen, and people bite into it and go, oh, the apricot, that's crap. People try the fruit-based lifestyle, they try and rush it, they try and have results today, and then they test themselves, oh, it's not working, this is crap. But you've got to let things ripen up. You can't rush nature. You can try, but you won't get the best results. You will be left with sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should start wrapping things up because you've only got maybe 5 minutes left in your battery.
6 minutes.
Okay.
I'll close off some of these windows here and get some more. Okay, so keep going.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share that you feel is important? Maybe some new distinctions you've made. Maybe something maybe something secret that you haven't shared in your thousands of hours of videos on YouTube. I don't know, anything at all. Leave us with something.
I don't like to leave secrets in terms of what's going to help people. I'm not scared if people take my advice and can kick my ass on the bike or do better in business or whatever. I don't care. I want to leave a legacy here. I don't want to leave secrets. I don't want to leave secret tips that can benefit people. So I'll let everything out on YouTube and my coaching and things like that. Just all out there. There's no secrets. What I've learned though is just to make sure you have high calorie, high carb, low fat, vegan, heavy on the fruit. And if you run out of fruit and you want to be raw, then eat dried fruit and bottled juice versus going to cashews and nut butters, trying to get your calories and just becoming glucose exhausted and a nut job to be around. And then eventually probably just binging on some Big Macs or something like that. Because I know a lot of raw fooders, they go from fruit to Big Macs or from fruit to nuts, and they're just like bad energy, feeling bad, look bad. So you want to maintain high carbohydrate all the time. Carbohydrate sufficiency is more important than carbohydrate source, meaning if you run out of fruit, eat your rice, eat your potatoes, just keep it low salt, no oil, no animal, and get enough calories. Because if you try and starve yourself, you're going to hate it. You're going to be like these raw food authors out there who say, oh, I tried the raw food diet and it didn't work for me. It's like, yeah, because you freaking starved yourself. Now they're all the way back to eating a standard American diet. And they're saying, oh, I feel better now. It's like, yeah, because you're getting more calories now. You're getting more carbohydrate calories. They say, no, it's not. It's because I eat grass-fed beef. It's like, no, it's not, because I've seen you at the restaurant. You're eating rice, potatoes, and good on you, because now you get enough carbs. You can function properly, so good on you. But please don't write books telling the people that it's because you're eating grass-fed beef that now all your problems are solved, because that's absolute rubbish. So my tip would be just get the carb calories in. Fruit's always going to be your best source if you can get enough. And I understand a lot of people live in maybe South Dakota or certain parts of Europe or Czechoslovakia or middle of Australia, and then getting enough fruit is like, it's going to be physically impossible. You can't live in those areas and do this lifestyle. So the next best option for those people is to do a high carbohydrate, low fat, vegan lifestyle like Dr. McDougall. So I like to give people the best option, which is fruit, and the second best option, which is cooked starch program. So in that way, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for bad eating habits. You have the best option, the second best option. You always have the cooked starch as a backup. You might have the bottled juice as a backup. You have the fruit as your staple, your main focus. There's no excuse to eat the animal products and the deep fried crap. Because now you can get enough calories. It's easy, it's fun, it's cheap, it's affordable, it's sustainable, it's tasty as heck. So just set yourself up to win. Be smart, follow your heart, and
So it was at this point that Harley's battery went in his computer. So I thought we'd just end it on that note, because it's a beautiful way to end it. It sums Harley up in a nutshell: is be smart, follow your heart, and that is his message. That's how he lives his life, and that's how he shares it with the rest of the world. And so just connecting with your heart, and you'll find your way in life, your way to better health and fitness as well. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank Harley for a wonderful interview. It's been great to speak to you, Harley, all the way over there on the other side of the world in Australia. Just absolutely love it. So my name is Matthew Armstrong. You've been listening to Transformation Talk. Speak to you next time.